Good afternoon, fellow Plexers. Today we're going to talk about HDhomerun tuners for Brandon, who has a question about them in the Plexaholic group. Actually, he was asking about Tableau tuners, and everybody's pointing him rightly to an HDhomerun tuner. So, Brandon, these are your three choices. Silicon Dust, the maker of the HDhomerun tuners, do have a tuner or maybe two tuner options. They have a built-in hard drive. That will only work with their own rudimentary proprietary DVR software. The nice thing about these tuners are they are universal tuners, which means they will work in Plex. They will work in MB, they will work in Jellyfin, and they'll work in other software also. The second thing to understand is don't get hyped by the new NextGen TV standard, the ASTC 3.0. Plex does not support that standard yet. I do have an older two-tuner device, and I have this tuner here, but I don't use Plex for DVR. I use Channels DVR instead. It's a better DVR and live TV setup than Plex. I love Plex for my permanent collection, and Channels DVR can tune these new next-gen stations. Now, you're not really missing much because there's no 4K broadcast on this yet. And my 2022 Sony TV has more next-gen features than what this tuner offers. You can get a weather report on my Sony's tuner, and there's no extras like that with the HDhomerun Flex. As a matter of fact, there's no DRM feature yet. Silicon Dust keeps saying that they hope to be able to release an update that unlocks DRM, and even if you're using Channels DVR to tune these newer type of channels, a lot of broadcast markets have those channels locked down with DRM. So like my Sony TV could tune the channels, but my HDhomerun Flex could not if I was in one of those markets. Luckily, I'm in central New York, and I have an outdoor antenna that picks up both the local Syracuse and Utica, New York channels. And there are no next-gen channels in Utica, and my closest market, Syracuse, has three, the ABC, CBS, and NBC channels. So I can record them with Channels DVR, but the resolution is the same as the old standard. The only benefit is they're more compressible, so the file sizes are smaller if you record the next gen versus the old gen. So it's a hybrid tuner. There's two of each, and the next gen tuner is backwards compatible with the old standard, which means you could record up to 4 of these channels, but only 2 of these channels, or 2 and 2, or 1 and 3. So just, you should know that. I do like having the smaller file sizes through Channels DVR. So the next thing we'll talk about, whether you use Plex or not, is you don't need a Plex pass for a live view. The Plex pass is only required for the DVR function. So I'll get back to that in a second. There really is not much of a setup. You plug one of these tuners into your antenna lead and into an Ethernet connection and a power connection. And that's it. And then you access it by its IP address. So you look in your router settings to find the IP address, and that's all you do. You can use a web browser on your phone, your tablet, laptop, or PC like I'm doing. So you look at the channel lineup, and you detect channels, which is a scan, and you can star or remove any channels you don't want to see. And this is everything in my area. And you see these next-gen channels down at the bottom. There's a new one. I don't even know what that is. And let me see here. So This is NBC on a Utica, and here's NBC on a Syracuse, and here's the NextGen NBC on a Syracuse. The same thing with my older Extend tuner. Go to channel lineup, scan what you want, check your status, and this really comes in maybe if you're adjusting your outdoor antenna and you've got a channel playing, it'll give you information on this screen. So let's go into Plex. So you'll see I've got both tuners in this test server that's on my DS1520 Synology NAS. And both tuners together combine into the one channel list here. And you'll see there's not the NextGen channels here. And again, a Plex pass is not required for a live view. So if I go to Home and I drop down to More, you'll find the guide under Plex's section. Now I've got multiple test servers running. That's why my side ribbon here looks very busy. But under the live TV, the tuners combine with what Plex offers. So you see my tuner installed on this server, this Plex server. If I set that tuner up in my main server, you'd see that tab there too. So channels are just there. They can be live viewed without a Plex pass. If you want to DVR them, you need a Plex pass. Now you can't share these with every user. The user has to be a member of your home. I've never gotten into that because somebody should put their own antenna up and just use their TV. With only 2 to 4 tuners, you're not sharing that much. So maybe if you have your older parents and it's not easy to put an outdoor antenna up, you could share your channels with them through Plex, but you're not going to share it with all your friends and family because you'll run out of tuners pretty quickly. So just to throw a little bit of realism into that. Now, Channels is an excellent DVR. The limitation of this is there's no Roku app for it. If you go into the forum for Channel DVR and look through different posts, you'll read that the Roku operating system is kind of referred to as a Frankenstein type of operating system. So Silicon Dust has an app for Roku, but some features are disabled. Channels had a beta app and they decided to pull the plug on it because the only way to release a functional app on the Roku was to disable certain features, and they decided not to. So this is really an Android TV / Google TV or an Apple TV usage. Now, if you go into the App Store on an Android or iOS phone, there is a Channels app that's $25, and that's live view only. And there's an Android TV and Apple TV version too. The interface is so good on a streaming device that they charge a huge premium for that. Well, if you sign up for their DVR, which is either $8 a month or $80 a year, there's a different app to download that doesn't cost you anything because you're already a subscriber on your phone, on your NVIDIA Shield, Google TV, or your Apple TV. And the nice thing about this is you'll hear people refer to accessory services called XTV or Threadfin, which is a replacement. And what that does is that takes one of those services that fell off the back of the truck, an IPTV subscription or a playlist subscription, and lets you create a virtual HDhomerun tuner to add to Plex. It's all very clunky. It works decently for some people, and others it just is a big mess and a problem. Well, Channels supports playlist tuners. So they don't come out and say they support pirated channels, but they support playlist type of tuners, so you can add that type of stuff in like somebody you might know has. Now, I don't have a lot set up, but I have a few things set up just as a demonstration. And here's my two tuners. So if I manage the 4K Flex, you'll see that near the bottom of my HD channels are the NextGen channels available to view and record. And this is just a nicer, I would call it a perfect DVR. I've never had a recording fail. Now, I've played around with those XT stuff in the past, and if there's a little blip in the stream with Plex, it spoils the recording. If you have that same tiny blip in Channels DVR, the client app will give you a notice saying that the recording was interrupted, but I've never lost any content. So on the back end, you need a really good service for that kind of stuff anyway, which are very difficult to find these days. And they get, if a service advertises too much, they get shut down. And if a service is locked up tighter than a drum, you can't get in as a new customer. So it's really kind of difficult. But what Channels also offers is TV Everywhere sources. And that's being hampered by DRM2. But if you subscribe to YouTube TV, Sling TV, or Philo, Philo's a very inexpensive service to subscribe to. They have a lot of TV Everywhere enabled channels. So you can add your subscriptions to something like, even a traditional cable company. Comcast, Spectrum, and all those. Or you can add your credentials from your streaming replacement cable service like Philo or YouTube TV. Now, not every channel on those services are going to be TV Everywhere enabled, and a small number of the ones that are TV Everywhere enabled will have DRM on them, which will block their inclusion, but you can bring a lot of channels in. So with this TV Everywhere option and an inexpensive Philo subscription and your HDhomerun tuner, you might be surprised at what you can DVR or live view from one universal app. Now, there's no TV Everywhere option inside Plex server. I think if Plex was smart, they would copy Channels DVR, lock, stock, and barrel. I love Plex for my permanent collection. All my friends and family are on it, but their TV option isn't as good. So, before this gets too long, this is not anything that's going to be of value to you in Plex. So you might want to start with the two-tuner device, save a little bit of money, maybe find one on sale. Eventually, this is supposed to supersede this completely, but I don't know when or now even if it will happen. And I do like this tuner. I took a chance at buying it. I don't know if the DRM will ever be unlocked. Luckily, my NextGen channels in the Syracuse market are free and clear to record and view, but that's not to say they are in your market. So I just wanted to give you a little background story. You were looking at Tableaus. I bought the first Tableau tuner pre-release from a company out of Canada, and it was pretty cool. And it was long before I started with Plex, but you had to buy guide data just to use it after the first year. So when my guide data ran out, I bought my first HDhomerun tuner and sold that Tableau tuner on Craigslist for maybe about 3/4 of what I paid for it. I was lucky to kind of switch over to the universal tuner. And again, if you don't like it in Plex, you can try it in Channels DVR, you can try it in MB, you can try it in Jellyfin. I keep saying Jellyfin, I don't know why. TV Head End. There's other options for this universal tuner. So just no NextGen TV in Plex. Nothing at all. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you with your decision on which tuner to buy and how to set it up.